All right, we are still at Penn State Pro Day, now joined by Will Hoover, a longtime supporter of the Nittany Lions. You were one of the first people to jump in support of this new era of college football here to support James Franklin and the program he is building through NIL. What was the motivation to want to contribute to that success?
I think just as a general fan, fourth generation, living in Central PA, being a business owner, second generation business owner, and having an affinity for Penn State athletics, football, baseball, basketball, other sports. So for me, my family was always good. My father played basketball here. I coached baseball here. And, of course, we're all football fans. So I think it's just the ability and have the resources and the love to kind of go out and be supportive of the NIL program, the football team, and the athletic department as a whole.
And of course, your wife, Wendy, is in charge of Happy Valley United, and the events section of that has really grown and evolved. You guys would have these kind of education events privately, but now to be able to open that up and share this information with the larger fan base, how important do you think that is, the work that Happy Valley United is doing, Wendy is doing, and just kind of spreading that message?
Yeah, I think it starts off small. At the very first gathering, you were there, yeah. So you guys know what that was, with maybe 50 people, and then it becomes a couple hundred people to where it is today. So I think it's a branding aspect. It's just word of mouth. It's social media. It's the stuff you guys are all doing. So I think it's got to grow and it's got to get better. Of course, you got to produce on the field. People love the extra games, the playoff games, the whole thing, the ability to play in a national championship, so it gives you more exposure, and the more limited opponents you play, the higher you go in the pecking order as far as exposure, and people want to be part of that.
And they're winning at a high rate, which I think is obviously helping. But as the rules kind of evolve and change, where do you think the focus needs to be for the program as they try and compete in revenue sharing and moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's important that we kind of align the older generation of Penn State football fans and alumni with the current group of people that are becoming your business leaders, your CEOs, CIOs, people that are evolving that kind of get that message, but you still need the older generation to make sure they all buy in. It's the world of college athletics. It's not going to change. It's only going to get more aggressive, more intense. So I think we need to make sure that we have alignment. I know Coach Franklin's talked about that, Pat Kraft, and so I think that's where we are with it, but I think it's here to stay, and it's not going to go away.
So accomplishing that, you're obviously not going to win everybody, right? It's just kind of, it's how it is. There's going to be folks that believe a certain thing, and it is what it is, and you can still coexist, but you do need to try to start winning those people who are sitting at home thinking like, okay, to your point, there's lots of ways to now do this, and we just talked to BJ Warjian about it. There's lots of ways to now participate, right? Whereas before, no one really knew what it was. You just kind of have to come in, front it, and trust that it's going to work out, right? But now, to your point, you have solutions through content, which your business can benefit from, and then you have solutions through the events, which is access and exclusivity, and an event even like today where we have the entire sideline dedicated to folks like yourself who come in, and your kids get to come and experience this and hang out with Letterman and watch these guys play, and then talk to the coaches, have an inside look. Talk just about the development of that and how maybe you use that as a bridge to those folks, those the older minded folks who think like Penn State was always doing it this way and that's the way it's going to be. Talk about just the bridge and the evolution of that, and if there's a connection.
Yeah, I think that the important thing for me is they view it as a transaction. It's like a free agent signing, and that's not necessarily what it is. My experience, BJ's experience, my wife's experience, our family as a whole, is you have the ability to get to know players, be a mentor.
It's an investment.
Correct. Not only financially, but it's just an ability to kind of develop and foster good relationships, and it trickles to the next player, and the next player. And then the guys that go off into the NFL, they're still family. They're still coming around. So I think the idea with the older folks is they have a lot to offer. And that can't be so closed-minded. You got to be able to say, hey, I do have a lot. Maybe I'm retired, maybe I'm newly retired, but I do have an ability to help young people in a different capacity. So I think that, and what you all do, again, with the social media, the exposure, the whole thing, the events, being the ability to see the program and open that up. Because it's always been, and it's always been a dark curtain. Well, you can't get behind the curtain. So I think it's important that you see all these things and all the good that can come out of it.
Yeah, the gamesmanship. They have a ton of assets in that building that don't necessarily reflect gameplay, but we'll keep that there. But talk about, too, I think you mentioned it, like football was at the beginning of this. Football's, obviously a very easy entry point here at Penn State. I think you could also make the argument that wrestling's another one. But when you look at the entire portfolio, and you mentioned revenue sharing, it's coming in-house, that's handling all sports. We have a lot of great programs that are developing under newer or new leadership. Baseball being one of them that comes to mind, Coach Rhodes with basketball, and I think Happy Valley's doing a great job. Your wife being one of them, stepping up to the plate, building an event portfolio out for these other sports. It's hard. You have to manage manpower and scalability and all these things, but and everybody needs to win now because everybody's dealing with the same problems. But just talk about that expansion and how much. I think that's one thing that can encapsulate a lot of folks is this is an all-encompassing thing here, right? Like you got to start with the easy points. You got to start with football. You got to start with the things that most people are visible in, but subsequently the entire ecosystem is going to benefit from this.
Yeah, I think you touch on it. I think Penn State as a brand prides itself in being very at the forefront, being very clean, being the New York Yankees style. And I think with that comes a cost. So when you do events, you want to do nice events because people like nice things. So I think sometimes people get caught in the dollars and cents, yet they still want the nice thing. So if you want to drive a Mercedes, you're going to unfortunately have to pay for a Mercedes.
Yeah, right.
So and money costs, and so you have to be creative with revenue in new ways, state media, things that we do. Events. So you have to be able to be creative in the business world. What BJ does, AI, all of these things, it costs money, but
spend money to
revenue.
Make money.
That's correct. The age-old adage. Yeah.
I think you're someone who's known the evolution of a lot of these programs firsthand. As you said, you were a baseball coach here at Penn State. Now you bring in a guy like Mike Gambino and the energy that he's infusing into that program. Why is he a guy that everyone should get behind? And what are they building at Penn State baseball that gives everyone some confidence around here?
Aside from Mike, an excellent X's and O's baseball guy. He has high energy. He came from a program at BC that doesn't have the resources in the Northeast, knows what it takes to recruit, understands I might have to develop a player a little bit easier than just going out and getting him. He's competing against the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC. He's the perfect guy for this program to win. He will win and he will win good. But the biggest thing, I think, is that Mike will do anything. He'll go out, he'll sell tickets, he'll wash cars, he'll do anything to help the program. He's helped football, he's gone to events, he spoke, he's done everything. And I think that's what it takes. You got to be able to kind of put your ego aside and say, what can I do to help my program? And that's he's going to do a great job, and he has already, and he's going to continue to ascend.
And that's special, I think, about the people that this university attracts as well, right? James Franklin was just talking to Cale Sanderson and wrestling, ahead of their national championship weekend. And it really is that everyone is in this together, and there's so much pride taken in all the programs here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you see Coach Franklin at wrestling, basketball, baseball, Mike's there. So I think, and obviously Pat Kraft, you got former football letterman. So I think it's important. And Penn State's always been a family environment, family atmosphere. So I think everyone's got to share in it to get to where we got to go.
Love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Will Hoover, thank you for joining us here, and thank you for the support for the Nittany Lions.
Thank you, guys.